Hello, I'm in the workshop. I'm not staying in there very long. I'm going to be cutting the grass, a very quick top cut, and strimming just a very quick over trim. I'm not doing a technical one, getting into all the corners and everything like that. Because if you do that, there could still be sleeping insects and wildlife and that. This is just a quick overcut. Spring is here in Cornwall. It's absolutely glorious. A little bit of wind, but that's Cornwall for you. And my lawnmower and strimmer has not even been started or looked at since I put it away last autumn. So I'm going to have a quick little look at them, check the oils, have a quick little look. I've got to change a head on the strimmer because I've got a bushwhacker on it from when I was doing the hedge. I've got to get that back to the strimmer cord set up, and then I'll crack on out in the garden. Yeah, people might recognise this lawnmower. It's a extremely cheap one that came in a box set up from a well-known supermarket chain. So there's millions of them like it out there. It's not of any fantastic quality, but it does the job, and I do tend to look after it, so it should have a bit of a lifespan. And I'm hoping to make it do, because I foresee, in my mind, that it won't be long before you won't even be allowed to purchase, fuel, fossil fuel items, garden machinery. It will all go over to electric at some point. And I don't see that being too far from the future. So I'm trying to edge my bets that I can make these items last till that happens. Or indeed, as I think it will happen. But getting back to this, yeah, you can see I've got to get that gone. I did clean them to some degree before I put them away, because grass will rot metal, degrade plastic, and indeed, it does deteriorate the life of the machine. So always clean it before you put it away. So yeah, I'm going to dig these out, have a quick little look, and see what needs to happen to them. Yeah, the grass still has a really wet feel to it, so the lawnmower, cutting it really tight, is just basically ripping up the lawn. So I've brought it up another notch on height, just to allow it to glide over a bit easier. And like I said, I'm not going to be going into the corners or the nooks and crannies, because that's where wildlife would be hiding, and it's still relatively early in the season to be disturbing them. So, if you can, I would have really let this go myself alone for another 4 weeks, but we've got a little dog, and it just makes it easier to spot the dog's poo to pick it up. But yeah, I'm leaving the boundaries and all the nooks and crannies to still go wild to well into, shall we say, the end of spring. Yeah, all these little bits on the boundary fence is where, like, we usually find like little grass snakes and the odd lizard, toad and frog. So I'm just going to leave all that. I'm not even going to attempt to bring that back, and just let it go, because obviously they're still doing their thing as regard to winter hibernation and things like that. So I'm just going to let all that go. Well, the lawnmower worked perfectly, but when I got to the strimmer that afternoon stroke evening, no, it would fire up, but it would, as soon as you tried to increase the throttlage on the actual machine, it would run, pop, spit and fire, and then want to drop back to an idle speed and then stall. So I can only assume I've got carburetor issues, and I'm going to have to strip that and have a little look. And that's on top of, I've just got my dishwasher that's stopped working, and I've got that in pieces in the actual kitchen, and indeed I'm now waiting on a part. So that's just life, and I know a lot of people will say, it's just one of the things you've got to deal with. But it does feel sometimes that everything mechanical around you, if you ain't trying to get it to go, you're trying to keep it going. That meant I went back to and had to resort to the old clippers, or garden clippers as we call them. Now, yet again, it brings me back to that thing that, no fuel, no Nothing really that can go wrong. They need a sharpen, but they did the job. I did have a little bit of a sore back, but that's probably because I need to use these a little bit more than the strimmer, I should say. Yeah, it's not even 10 o'clock and the greenhouse is up to 28 Celsius, so you can really see that that's bringing in and bringing on all the stuff in here. Our buglias are really starting to take off. Yeah, we've deadheaded a lot of them. There's a few that have escaped us, and they should be ready to go out and be sold within the next 2 months, I would say. The rest of these are beginning to come through. You can see the wigglia, some of these have pulled through. I think that one might be dead. Not sure with that one. That one's made it, that one's made it, and that one's made it. If I come down here, yeah, there's a few of those have made it, a few haven't. And it's the same at the back there. And the laurel that we've took cuttings from, they've survived. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. We've got enough here to go out the front with the tulips and everything like that we've got. So yeah, spring really is happening here. Yeah, it's a glorious day, but there's a lot of wind. It's pretty really blowy. We've got some daffodils coming up on our front hedge, just waiting for them all to come out. But there's tulips in that as well, so that's going to look lovely when they come out. And we're still waiting for this plant to flower. It should be, you can see the red in the buds and that, but that will come out a glorious big red flower. So we're still waiting on that, but it is about to happen. This is a pear tree that was planted, and it was only just a very small little stem. And to be honest with you, I didn't think it would make it through the winter, but we've got leaves and it's coming through. So this one I think will actually, I've got a cat that's decided to join me. This will actually make it through to this spring, which it has done. So I've got confidence that perhaps this one might actually grow into an actual pear tree. Right, the cat's rubbing up against it, but this is actually a citrus tree of some description. I can't remember what, because it was given to us. I can't remember if it's a lime or lemon, but it is a citrus tree, I can remember that much. Now, I'm not sure I want the cat doing that. He's trying to rub himself. It looks like scent glands over it. But yeah, that's got buds on it and that's coming through, so that's looking promising. Yet again, planted last year as just a twig really. We've had this fig for a good few years. Alright Casper, you come back. And the thing is, it was a rescue one. It was sort of left in somebody's garden. It had been there for quite a while, and it was in a pot. We kept it in that pot for quite a while, and it produced figs even at this particular size and state. Come on, back you get. And as you can see, it's starting to throw buds again. I planted this out in late autumn, and I'm surprised it's made it through the winter. But I'm hoping now we can get this one to grow up the side of this wall. And like I said, it's already producing figs at this size, so hopefully we're feeding it and giving it like proper soil conditions where it's not pot bound, it should really take off. Yeah, as you can hear above the wind, everybody's out with their garden equipment and everything, but this planter, I've done nothing to it. The thing is, we're getting rid of all this gravel and putting it back to lawn. I hate gravel. It serves no purpose. At least if I put it back to lawn, it's producing oxygen. There's going to be environment for insects and things like that. But as you can see, it is starting to come to life with tulips and all various manners of plants and everything. I will try to salvage some of these, but yeah, as if I can get it to be moved, but I've got a feeling this wooden box will fall to pieces as I try to do that. Yeah, this is just a planter full of bulbs and plants that have been left over from the ones the wife and kids have sold out the front for like pocket money, and you know, the bulbs that don't look like they're of any good, or they look half eaten, rotten or something like that, we just give them an opportunity to survive by planting them here. And as you can see, we're starting to get a nice display there. And we've got a nice red, I think that's a tulip there coming up. These here are oak trees, and they're taken from where my father-in-law used to live, down by the local church. And that will be planted in our front garden. I've got two, so the one that becomes the biggest and most successful, which this one looks to be the case, but this one was smaller to start with, but they're budding. Like I said, spring is here, so whichever one of these gets popped down first and can be planted, that'll be the one that'll go in our front garden. And that's a proper oak tree, and like I say, it's from our parish down the bottom and the church where we got married, so you know, it means something to us. Yeah, you can see I've cut the grass and it's not done too bad a job. Yeah, a lot of wind noise, but it is still t-shirtable weather. You can get away with a t-shirt, but yeah, all the grass clippings, they go into the chickens, and I'll show you that. It's a shame it's so windy really, but they go into here. Now, if you see any of my other videos, you'll know this was just mud. What happens is we put all our clippings in here, and they will eat what they want to eat, and they'll break the rest down into compost. And then we get to use some of that compost in our plant pots for our plants. But they have a whale of a time eating it and digging through it themselves. The kids are out enjoying the sunshine in the garden. And the eldest got a little electric motorbike we bought last year, and that's been absolutely fantastic. Obviously, I would recommend you wear safety gear and a helmet as they do on the instructions, but he's under supervision here with me in the garden. And he's just whizzing around having a bit of fun. Like I said, it's not petrol driven, it's electric, and I'm very impressed with that. I might actually do a look around on that bike and just show you it at some point. But yeah, the kids are doing their thing. This is a ornamental cherry tree, and it produces a really nice crop of blossom, and you can just see the buds are coming out there now, and it's not guaranteed what colour. We've had like a light pink and a white come from it, varying years, so I'm not sure why that actually happens to this one, because traditionally they're either white or pink, but this one will produce both at some point. I've planted some tulips, and like I said, the ones that don't make it to go in the pots to sell because they're not what we call quality ones, I plant them anyway. And as you can see, I've got a load of them coming up in here, which is nice. I mean, you don't want to waste them if you can. Obviously, a lot of them, I would say it's a 50% success ratio. Some are just too rotten or mouldy, or they've been nibbled and they don't make it. But the ones that do, you know, you've got some nice ornamental flowers for that effort you put in trying to salvage them, and it gives the insects something to eat. Right, these here are little black currant bushes, and as you can see, I've got leaves and everything like that coming through on these, so looking like they've made it through the winter. And all that there is ash from the wood burner, and that will work its way into the soil over the next few weeks. And these here are actually starting to bud, and like I said, I'm going to find out what these are, but spring is here. I'm sure people thought I cut this back too far and it was too severe, but as you can see, it's regenerating and I've got buds all over it, and I dare say I'll probably have to cut this one back next autumn. But yeah, this is a Himalayan honeysuckle, beautiful plant, but this one just got out of control, so we had to bring this one back. And as I think I've stated before, this is one that we've taken from somebody's garden who wanted it removed. It took me about 2 hours of digging to get it out of their planter, but it was worth it. And yeah, this one's made it through. Buds all over it. And this produced a nice crop of black currants, just as it was when we put it in the ground. So they're pretty hardy. The kids' Wendy house there. I'm not quite sure what they're doing in there. But where's the other one? He's somewhere around. park the motorbike up there. You be careful up there. You be careful. And then we got this idiot here. Yeah, the blackthorn in the hedges have just started, got little white, or should we say cream coloured buds on them, so they won't be too long till they start flowering themselves, and they produce a nice crop of flowers, and it's really vibrant in the hedge. Yeah, this is a pear tree here, and that's starting to bud. These are the ones I fed, and they're really starting to come on. Now, this one's probably a little bit behind the others, but I can just see it starting to bud. Yeah, this is a plum tree. As you can see, it's gone green there. Little buds are beginning to explode out all over it. So it may be a little bit windy and cold, but it's actually sunny enough to give these that little push to remind them it's spring and it's time to do something. Not really the best time to do it, but I took a couple branches off there because they were just literally too far in the way. They were sticking out probably 3 meters. It was starting to grow sideways rather than up, but so I took those off, and hopefully that will encourage it to push upwards. And as you can see, I've got buds starting to come through here. I planted this apple tree for my 50th, and as you can see, it is just starting to produce some buds. And yeah, this was for my birthday and about a joint wedding anniversary, this particular tree here. So we've got a vested interest to make this one survive. For our own personal reasons. Yeah, we don't want this one to expire, because obviously that might bring us a bit of bad luck. But as you can see, it's actually starting to throw leaves, or bud shall I say there. What are you going to do? You're going to make a cup of tea in your house? Alright, okay. Oh, put your stand up on your bike, Cody. That's it, remember your stand, and then off you go. Now Daddy's watching. There, off you go. Yeah, this cherry tree's really going for it, and it's starting to throw loads of buds everywhere. This one's probably the most advanced fruit tree I've got so far. As you can see, I've left a little bit of greenery around it, because that's where insects do tend to like hiding in amongst all that tight grass there. But yeah, this one looks really advanced, and it's really trying to make the most of this weather we've got here at the moment. That wind is really gusting, so it might actually come out on these videos quite a lot. But I'm down here in a bit of the garden behind the chicken. I'm having a look at all the plants that we got here, and these ones here, the raspberries. Right, like I said, I'm down in a piece of the garden which is pretty much left to its own devices, just behind the chickens. It's kind of what we just allow just to do its thing. But I've got something pretty interesting happening to the raspberry bush, and I don't know if this is how they, should we say, propagate, or whether this one's just thriving. I'll just show you. This is the raspberry bush that I've just planted here last year, just as a stalk. Obviously it's got leaves and it's starting to grow upwards, but I've noticed that I think I've got them popping up beside it as well. They're not stinging nettles, they're the same flowers as these here. And on top of that, it seems to be coming around here as well. So I don't know if it's thrown little roots or suckers out and is starting to multiply, which is good, because if this will multiply easily on its own, I should get a good crop of raspberries down here, because it gets the sun and it's a little bit sheltered. And obviously my blackberry bush, which I'm trying to grow that way along the hedge, along that way, that's doing quite well as well. It's starting to throw leaves and is growing. But as you can see, we let this do its own thing down here. I've got some rhubarb, which is like a legacy from what my father-in-law let me have many years ago, and I just put it down here, forgot about it, and it still keeps coming back every year. And we've got loads and loads of, should we say, garden variety plants and bulbs mixed in with natural ones here, but we're starting to get a carpet of green here now, which is nice. I'm going to grab you. You got up that ladder, didn't you? Yeah, you scared down there. You come down this side. Come down here. Come down here.
It's slippery.
Yeah, you hold the fence. That's why the ladder's there. Right, put your foot there. Go on, put your foot there. That one. On that one. Now come down. There. Now hold the ladder like you do on the bunk bed. There you go. You don't want to go up there, do you? You're not big enough to be up there. You go inside your house and make a cup of tea.
No, it's as soon as this, then it stops.
Right, okay. Yet again it's spring, so the rodents don't tend to be around. I've noticed they've pretty much disappeared now, so I've retired these traps till autumn. I've got the bait box in situ. There's not a lot of activity there either. It's probably just a few mice, but as for the bigger rodents, they've gone back out into the fields. There's plenty of food, and they don't have to worry about domestic cats and things like that so much when they go out into the natural environment. So yeah, those are retired now till autumn. So yeah, as you can see, spring is well on the way here. Yeah, it's Saturday, so even though it's windy, the sun's out, there's a lot of people moving on the road, because obviously, even though we live in a village, and it's a reasonably quiet village because there's nothing really here, we have a road, shall we say, the main road, which is an arterial road between a main road and a local town. So there's people that use the road outside mine as a cut through to get to another secondary road about 1.5 miles away. So I'm about to put some sticks out on the stall, because as I've said in previous videos, I do sell my hiking sticks from a stall outside our house. So I'm going to put these out now. That's just a regular job when the weather's nice. We just put the sticks out the front to sell, and as I've said before, it's quite nice that you go and have a look. There's some money in the pot and a stick gone, and yeah, it's just nice, like, you know, and it's nice to know people are actually looking and using our stall. So yeah, that's the stall loaded there for the day. Some nice selection there, and money pot with thank you on it. But yeah, it's as simple as that. Right, the reason some of these plants are still here is basically because we're trying to stall the development and bring them out in stages. So you can sort of like stagger it, so you keep some slightly not growing so fast. And when you want them to come up to go out the front, you then put them in a sunnier area, shall we say, just for example down there where they're getting direct sunlight, and that will speed up their growth, which has happened to some of these here. And as you can see, these tulips are possibly only a day or so away from us having to put them out to think about selling them. And that is because you put them in a more sunlighted area to bring them on, but you have to keep some back, so you don't want to put your whole stock out in one go, because they'll all go to flower. You won't sell them, and then obviously it's a waste. So you've got to stagger it out, so you keep some back in a shaded area. They don't develop as fast. You put some in a sunny area, push them on, and then you manage your stock till you've sold them all, and you can keep a constant supply over the selling season with these tulips by doing that. But it does take a little bit of work, and you have to maintain a vigil on them and you know, rotate your stock. So I've brought the strimmer out, I've got my tools, and now I'm going to strip down the carb and see if I can fix this problem easily. Like I said, I used the garden clippers, but I do have this, and if I can get it working, I'll try. But I've got this thing that I think when this does go, I will just revert back to doing it manually. It's good exercise, and you know, it's good, better for the environment. But I do want to give this one shot and see if I can fix the issue with it. Well, I've had some success there. I've actually got that running, and it's going right the way through the rev range. All I did was take the carburetor off, blow it through by mouth. Obviously I don't have an airline capacity here, and it seems to have worked. But the thing is, increasingly, even with what I've just done there, that's about as much as you can do. Once you start running into problems with these machines, these days they're built to be kind of disposable. Even the carburetor, you would just throw it away and get a new one, or order a new one. And nothing seems to be built really to be repairable, to last, or serviceable, which is something I think manufacturers are going to get back to for this whole environmental thing that people keep screaming out for, until people get away from the fact sometimes cheap isn't always the answer, and perhaps you're better off having something that is repairable or upgradable. I think all this thing about environmental thing, we're kind of barking up the wrong tree in some respects. You need to be able to make things last and repair them. So I've just put more grass clippings in there, and they are digging through it all and coming down to it. But the chickens themselves, with the sun out, the grass cuttings in here, it being drier, their mood is up. Egg production's up to about 80% of what it will be in the height of summer season. But yeah, their crests are bright red. They're strutting around with their feathers up. They're happier, healthier. The sun, everything about it's the spring, and just having basic the opening or entry level livestock, which is chickens, it keeps you in touch with the seasons as well. And like I say, just look at them, they're all happy, they look healthy. Because they're laying, all their crests and wattles are bright red. That's the first indication that they're all laying. On this bird feeder here, we've seen some birds going in and out of it. I'm not going to get any closer because you're not supposed to disturb them, but you can see they've been ripping and tearing apart that hole a little bit more. I think that's they test the wood to see the suitability of it being a nesting box. But yeah, I'm hoping they do use that this year. I've also got some of the kids' Easter eggs in here hidden away. Yet again, another sign of spring. But yeah, hopefully I'm going to have to cover those over before they run in here and see those. Yeah, so this little video is just one to show you that spring has finally arrived here in our little corner of Cornwall. I'm going to do a hike. I'm actually technically on shift today, so I can't leave my property. But as soon as I get a chance, I'm going to do a hike out into the footpaths and the hills, and if not, up onto the high ground, and just let you see how spring is starting to arrive to my part of Cornwall. So I hope you just enjoyed that, and I'll catch you again. This is Andy from Folklore Hiking Sticks. And just as a bonus, there's 2 white eggs, so I'll take those indoors, and yeah, I'll catch you again.